Well, hello there, and welcome to a very festive edition of the Hippod. My co-presenter J.C. is here, and yes, we are doing this one in Vision. How do you feel about being on the telly?
Alarmed. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to try and not look at the monitors because I'm seeing those 2 mince pies that I ate yesterday for my dinner. So
They say it adds £10, 25 in my case, but you know, it is what it is. The panto is Peter Pan at the Bristol Hippodrome, and please welcome Hugo, Molly, and Carly. Welcome. Hello. So first of all, could we go down the line? Molly, we'll start with you.
Yeah.
Tell us the character you play, please.
I play Wendy Darling.
Hugo?
I play Peter Pan.
I play Tinkerbell.
JC, what character do you play?
so many characters. We haven't got time to go through them all, sadly.
Iconic, you're here in between shows, so it's all a bit of a mad rush. The panto schedule, Molly, is nuts, isn't it? It's just crazy. Like, how many shows in total are you going to do in this run?
I want to say, I think it's 50 plus. I think it might be 54. 12 a week. So yeah, it's 12 a week, and so we do 3
For 5
4 weeks.
Oh,
or
yeah,
4
4
weeks.
weeks.
And then we had 4 extra when we opened.
It's
around 50 plus.
I think it's 52 or something. I'm
It's
pretty sure.
loads.
And in terms of your day, Hugo, when does it start? How many shows a day, and when does it finish?
It depends on obviously which day that you're performing. So generally during the week, we'll start a bit later at around, we'll be called in for 1 p.m. and then have a show at 2 p.m. But sometimes when like school kids come, we start earlier. We finish earlier because they have to go home and sleep and stuff. So yeah.
And how, Carly, does that affect your mental being? Do you ever know what time of day it is anymore?
No, today I thought it was Wednesday, actually. Yeah. It does throw you off a bit. And because we have Mondays off, which sometimes feel like a Sunday, because that feels like the normal day to have off. But it's fine. You get used to it, I feel like. You get into the swing of it. So.
And how have the Bristol audiences been so far?
Really great. I've never have done like shows before.
Oh, no,
So-
you haven't.
Oh.
It had to, at some point, it had to
had
happen.
to
Sorry.
put it in there. But so I went from like having a big audience to then also having a panto audience. So it was just like not like anything I've ever experienced before. It's crazy.
And in terms of the other actors, there are some of them behind us on the screen here. What's it like, Hugo, working with me and JC? Oh no, sorry, the Lord Suchet and Ford and the wonderful Faye.
Yeah, they're amazing. Honestly, I don't think we could have asked for a better cast.
No.
David Suchet is so creative, and I think it's really, obviously we know him from Hercule Poirot and stuff, but it's amazing seeing him on stage because this is also his first time doing panto.
Oh no, it isn't. Obviously.
And he just slips into the character so easily. Faye is also hilarious. We've gotten really close to her as well. She's honestly, she makes me laugh all the time. Andy as well, he's got amazing jokes. And Kerry is actually just as hilarious. Kerry has got such good...
So funny. That is so funny.
Yeah. Kerry.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something you can't tell here, but it's honestly, it's amazing.
Can we just hear you say Hercule Poirot again? Because there seems to be some sort of professionalism.
Hercule Poirot.
Well, so are you a French speaker? Is this
I am French.
Oh, you are French.
Yeah.
You didn't tell me this in the research, did you? So, and in terms of a show, I can't believe no one's ever seen Peter Pan and not know the story. But what is, Molly, the Bristol take on Peter Pan this year? If you had to sort of describe it in a sentence or so.
The take on Peter Pan this year is the story, but then also you've got Phaetos and you've got David Suchet, and you want to see them on that stage. And let me say, they are. They're amazing in it. And like, I feel like it's like got the story and it's got ours, and we're like storytelling. But I feel like what the people want to see is definitely in it. And I feel like that's great, because if you want to see David doing David stuff, not to spoil anything, but it's in there. If you want to hear steps, then it's in there. Despite it being Peter Pan, like, they've got everything that the audience really want to see in there.
JC, you have seen many a panto at the Bristol Hippodrome. How does it compare to pantos past?
Well, I think you kind of just hit the nail on the head, because I saw it on Saturday, and yeah, it's fantastic. It's got everything I think that the whole family will like. 'Cause the story of Peter Pan is brilliant. magical fairies, pirates, already brilliant. And then David is absolutely fantastic, and I just love David. I could talk about him for about 20 minutes non-stop. The funniest bit that I felt quite emotional about is he says a little thing at the end about Cash for Kids, which is a charity that we're working with, and the way he says it, pauses, like the inflections. I was a tear in my eye, and I never cry for anything. And I was like, quick, empty my pockets. And I was that person as well who'd had a wine or two and was singing along and dancing when Faye was doing her thing. So, it's brilliant.
You have a wine or two? Unheard of.
Just for Christmas, of course. Never any other time. Never.
Is there? Would you be giving away secrets, Hugo, if I asked if there were any steps numbers in the panto?
Well, I guess you'll just have to come and watch.
That's the mystery.
Tickets are still available.
Talk to us about your journey to here, Kylie. Where did you train, and how did you sort of get involved in the panto here in Bristol?
Yeah, so I grew up just dancing, and I loved it.
Can you not say just dancing? I've seen some of this dancing before.
I loved it, and I wanted to be a professional dancer. And then my nanny introduced me to the world of panto and like musical theatre in general. But we used to see pantos every year. So then I did amateur pantos, and then skip forward, went to drama school. I went to Erdang in London for 3 years. Graduated 7 months ago now, and then just been doing auditions since then, and with my agent and stuff, and then he got me the audition for Peter Pan with Crossroads.
Is drama school, acting school, is it as it's portrayed to be as we see it, on TV and media? It's also like, showbiz lovey darlings, and it's also cat fights, and is it really like that, or is that?
I think it definitely depends which one you go to. Erdang is very much like what you would see in Fame. Like, it's crazy because there's so many of us. I really enjoyed it. I had a fortunate time at drama school. There's definitely a lot of stuff that it makes you realise you might not be cut out for it. Like, it's very competitive, and you just have to sort of put a lot aside. You learn so many life lessons along with it, but it is sort of what you see, and then also is really tough at the same time.
What was your best memory from being there?
Best memory from being at Erdang? We did like a shortened project of a musical, and we did one called 9, and I loved it. And that was probably the best 2 weeks I had there. I loved it. Yeah.
Hugo, what about you? What's your story? So talk to us. You were born in France?
No, I was born in Singapore.
Of course you were.
I moved to Glasgow and studied at the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland. Their program in musical theatre involved a lot of instrument learning, and I really liked that, so I decided to audition, and I got in. Actually, I wouldn't say it's I wouldn't say that my experience there is like what you see on TV. It was very music-based, and especially in first year, we were in lockdown because of COVID, so a lot of the material we were supposed to learn in first year, we only got to really delve into in second year. But I had a great time. I also have a lot of love for Glasgow and that town, and being there, I still miss it a lot.
Oh, so you're quite musical then. Do you play lots of instruments?
I play the piano and a bit of banjo. That's what I learned. That's what I learned.
Bit of the no, don't worry. And in terms of great memories and I guess a little bit of advice for people that might be listening / watching to this that aspire to be on stage like you guys are doing, what would you say to those people?
I'd say just to remember that it's not linear, that every challenge that comes with this industry, you just need to, it can be hard. Like, I don't want to be like the corny, like, don't give up, but it is kind of like that. But it is kind of like that. It is a situation where it's like you will find yourself with challenges that the school and that people that you will meet will give you, and you just have to learn from it and just keep going. And that also goes with auditions, where not every audition is going to be your best. You just need to continue, and one there will be a casting director that will like what you do. It always get it back.
It always kind of strikes me, because you can be playing, I don't know, Marius in Les Mis, and then that contract comes to an end, and then you have to start applying again, like any normal person would. It's not like a career where, like footballers, for example, will, start at the bottom in the academy and work their way up to the top, and then all of a sudden they're playing for a Premier League team. They get transferred to another Premier League team and another Premier League team. Whereas, for you guys, it's like, okay, so what job is next? Molly, how has that affected you? Tell us about your journey.
So I trained as well. We all graduated in the same year, this year. So I trained in Brighton, but like my journey after that, I've been lucky. You usually at the end of your training get an agent, or you try and get an agent, and if not, then you just keep like looking. It's kind of always in musical theatre that you're just hoping and wanting an next opportunity. But so I have got like a great agent, and I do get a lot of opportunities and auditioning, but it's hard because it's the same in every job where they want people with experience, and unless you have experience, then it's like kind of like a never-ending thing. So I do feel like when I got this, I was just so relieved, because for me, as much as I love this job and everything, the one thing that really like hit home was, if I can get one, I can do it again. And then that you can do it, and it's in you. And I feel like that is so rewarding. But then you go so long without that, and you have to like fuel yourself in between those moments where you're getting no's and no's and no's. You have to be the person to be like, no, I will get a yes, I can get a yes, but that's kind of your own job to do for yourself, to give yourself that motivation in between getting anything back, really.
And what is that moment like? What was the moment like, for example, when your agent phoned and said, yep, you're in Bristol?
Well, I was on Carnaby Street, and I just had a bad audition. It was this weird week where I had an audition every single day for 4 days, but they kept coming randomly, so I don't live that close. I live like a 2-hour train away. So what happened was, otherwise I would have stayed somewhere in London for those days, but I didn't know. So I was commuting every single day, 2 hours every day, and I was knackered. And it was like the end of the week, and I'd had an audition, and it wasn't my favourite thing that I've ever done. And then he called me being like, oh, tell me about that. He went, oh, it's okay, because you don't need to worry about that, because you've got panto. And I was just like, oh my God. And then I said, like, I was just really excited, but then after a couple of minutes I was like, well, where? And he was like, Bristol. And I was just so happy, because I live close by. I don't live far from here. It's within an hour drive. And for me, I was like, there are people that like are older who aren't so well, so that they can come to this now and they can see it. And I was like, that's so amazing. And it was just like the cherry on top, and I was just so happy and so relieved. It was amazing.
Carly, where were you when you found out you'd got Bristol?
I just finished a shift, so I was at home. And then I think I just woke up from a nap to my agent calling me, because I had work every day and I was tired. Yeah, and then he asked me how it went, because I found out 2 hours after my audition. Because I was at work, went to the audition, came back to work, went home, had a nap, and then he rang me. And he asked me how it went, and I thought, you've already asked me how it went on like text message, he'd already asked me. And I just said it again. I was like, yeah, I think it went well. Like, I was really happy with it. Just good to be seen by Crossroads, by Jonathan, because I always had wanted to be. And then he said, well, good, because you got it. And then I got told I was doing woking, though. They told me I was doing woking. There was all a big confusion. So I thought I was doing woking for really long with Andy DeBeck and everything. I was very happy to be in Bristol when I found out.
What about you, Sue? Where were you during the magic moment?
I was doing the Edinburgh Fringe at the time. And my agent asked me to come down to London for the Crossroads audition. At first I was like, oh, I don't want to go. I was like, it's not on my day off. But then I went. I met with Jonathan, who's also the director of this show. And I was quite tired that day, so I came back. And a week later, my agent also called me being like, how did you feel about that? And I was like, oh my God, it's the worst audition of my life. And he was like, oh, well, you got it. And I was like, oh, great.
So the casting then is all done sort of centrally, and then they decide where they're going to put you?
I think so. I know that Jonathan Kiley is the primary casting director of Crossroad Pantomimes, so he overlooks a lot of it. Obviously, I'm not sure we know how it works internally, but I know that Jonathan Kiley specifically was casting for Bristol because he was working with David. So
at the time of the audition, you don't know where it might be. So
I
it's a bit of a
I knew really? Mine. I was told I was auditioning for Tink in Bristol, and then when I got told there was a mix-up, and it's actually Woking. And then I got it confirmed. It wasn't working. It was Bristol all along. So
tell us a little bit about your characters then. Molly, we'll start with you. Tell us all about the character you play.
Wendy is, well, she's kind of like in the movies. I feel like what's great about Wendy is that I've got we have like kids in the show, just like 2 on each night and matinee. So I feel like that's nice because she gets to show that she's like a family member, and like that adds an extra layer because you're not just on your own, you've got other people, and then that adds to the character as well. But I'd say one thing that people have said to me is she's a tiny bit Hermione Granger. Like there's a line in the show. There's a line in the show which is so Hermione, and the boys backstage sometimes say like, "Oh, you've got to give it Hermione," and I feel like that's kind of a bit. Yeah, I'd say like if I would say something about her, she kind of has a bit of Hermione in her.
it's so cute.
Can you give us the line? Can you do the Hermione line?
Well, it's when I don't want to spoil anything. She goes, "You think you're funny? Well, I'm not laughing."
Oh, yeah.
The way you say it, you think you're funny.
That's like the, I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
Oh, we get expelled.
Exactly. It's
Or
giving
even
that.
worse. Expelled.
This part's, I mean, all of the parts are iconic, but yours is the title of the show, Hugo. So was that daunting when they said, okay, yeah, go, Peter Pan?
Yeah, a little bit. At first, I didn't really have any idea what I was auditioning for until I got into the room. And then I was like, oh, it's Peter Pan. And I was like, okay, I've got to really give it my all. But it's really fun. I think the beauty of panto is obviously you don't take yourself too seriously. So you can have a lot of fun with the characters that you play. And I feel like I get quite a lot of opportunities in this panto to do so, especially with David Suchet and when we're kind of working with the audience to kind of like boo him or like all that. And it's really fun. I did find it a bit scary at first, to be fair. I did. I was just a bit like, oh, yeah, him. Yeah, okay. I was like, okay, I'll just do it.
And panto is unique in the way that no 2 shows are ever the same because of the audience and the interaction that you get with them. Does that add an extra element of complication because you've got something else? Not only have you got to learn your lines and know your marks and know how to react, but all of a sudden something might come up from the audience that's completely different, and you have to react to that as well. Has that sort of happened yet?
Well, generally because me, Carly, and Molly have to kind of keep the story going. We generally try to ignore the audience a little bit because it's like we've got to just keep the story going.
5-hour pantomime.
Yeah. But it is quite funny to hear like someone yell in the audience and you just kind of have to just stay in character and you're like, yep, just keep going.
Sometimes I find it so hard not to laugh on stage. It's so difficult.
Lots of flying for you. Can you give away that secret?
Well, there's some secrets, but not actually that much flying because I'm always a fairy.
Okay.
So can't fly through the whole show when we have to dance and stuff. But because these 2, when they fly, it's more of the spectacle of Wendy gets to fly. But there's some things that happen.
What parts of you do you bring to Tink? If we opened up to, I've got a bit dark here. Opening up Tink, I don't know why I'm doing that. But what part of Carly is Tink? What
It's
have you brought to
similar. Her mood swings, her feistiness. Like she's sweet and cutesy, and then she snaps, and it's very much like me. not mean to people. I'm not mean to people. I got a boo today because I was mean to Wendy, but I do love that about her. Is I actually really sounds so silly, but really relate to her. She's very much me, and so I find it easy to step into her, and because it feels real. Then I'm not just this crazy princessy lovely part. There's also the little feisty moody side, and she's like a bit rough around the edges at times, and that's how I am in real life, and wanting to be like Peter a bit, which I like.
It's fascinating, isn't it? Because we've obviously talked to lots of people on the pod about their various methods of how to get into character, and I guess that actually being the character already is just so much easier, isn't it? And I suppose that panto, like we've talked to Andy Ford over the years, who I'm sure you're
Well,
very...
You do your best Andy Ford impression.
I don't know if I can beat the last one. Don't know if I can beat the last one. But if you're having a bit of an off day, Molly, and things aren't, quite going to plan, all of a sudden then you've got this injection of, massive main character energy from the likes of these main cast. It must be quite relieving, I guess, on days like that.
Well, one thing that I think I really get things from is the audience, because when we start the show, so we're all there, quite a lot of us are literally behind the curtain, and I have to have my eyes closed, have to be asleep, and I just hear them, and I know, and sometimes I can get in to the bed I'm really tired, but then you hear people and they're screaming and they're shouting, and that really gives me a boost personally. But also seeing David Suchet, who has been doing this a lot longer than we have, always do every show and never has ever complained about being tired or ever, and after every show he always goes, great show everyone, great show everyone, even if it wasn't for us. And I feel like that's quite nice, because he never ever is tired or doesn't want to do it, and I'm like, okay, I should be like that as well.
Let's talk to him at the end of the run, shall we, and see if it's still the same. Grueling. JC, over to you for a question, maybe.
Okay, yeah. Well, I kind of wanted to take it briefly back to the flying, because I'm terrified of heights. So do you guys get frightened doing it, or is it exhilarating?
I find it more exhilarating.
Yeah?
I when we first practiced it, because me and Molly had to go to flying school to practice before.
Magical flying.
It's not as fun as it sounds.
It's not as fun as it sounds.
Oh, it's so lame.
But it did help me kind of expect what was going to happen once we got into the set and the stage. There is a very specific trick that I do while flying, which you'll have to see if you come.
Oh, you can't tell us. You can't tell us this. And oh my god.
They do
Tease.
trapeze.
No,
They
it's
do trapeze. She swings from his hands.
No. But it is a specific trick that I had to do, that I had to practice multiple times, and that was a bit scary. But the more you do it, and because we have a specific thing on to help us fly, it just makes it all more safer.
Are they not? I've seen these sorts of outfits where you have to have oversized Y fronts on. Does that not chafe a little?
Oh. Yeah.
A bit.
Can you still father children?
I don't know. We'll have to find. No, I don't know.
It just always looks a bit tight down there for my liking.
Moving swiftly up.
Yeah, okay. We might have to edit that bit out. Who knows? We always like to ask one final question, don't we, JC?
Yes.
And Hugo's sort of answered it a little bit, but Molly and Carly can have a go.
Yeah, so we like to ask people, if you had one tip for people looking to get into the theatre industry, what would it be?
Oh, me first? Okay.
I'm copying you.
I think this is really specific, but just don't waste time. Like, I look back and I look at times where, because now I would say singing and acting is such a thing I love so much, and that's what I would want to excel more in. And when I was just dancing and would try to sing, I'd run out of the classroom crying and couldn't do it. Thank you. Thank you. And I couldn't do it for a really long time without feeling like normal about it. Even though I felt so confident in everyday life, like I just couldn't sing in front of people, and then I wouldn't be able to act in front of people. I just couldn't shut it off. And then now that I look back on it, I just wish I never wasted the time doing that. And it's not that deep. Like, it's so fun to be able to sing and act and dance and just go and take it, like go take class. It's just for fun. And then if you want to take it on in the future even more, then you have it then. At least you have it and you've done it. Because it's not for everyone, and some people might train their whole lives and go through 3 years of drama school and still not want to do it, but then at least you did it and at least you tried, and it's not too late to do something else if you didn't want to do it. So I just think don't waste time.
Don't waste time.
What the
We've got quite emotional about that, Carly. She's choked. Molly, take over quickly.
I would say, this is a weird one, but the perspective I have is that I do think that musical theatre is kind of hard to get into, because I think that you're supposed to be trained in 3 different things. And just from my perspective, that is a lot of money. That's a lot of things to do, and I remember I had to give up dance classes to do singing, and then I was like, how am I ever supposed to go to drama school, because I can't do 3 things at once, because that's so much money, to be honest. And it's not like I'm hard done by, I'm really not. It's just I do think it's so hard to train yourself equally. Same thing with drama school, you have to pay to audition, and it is kind of hard. And I think that one thing I say to people is just, if you can't do it, don't kick yourself for it. Like, just focus on what you can do, and like you can still get there, even if it's a different route. There are people who don't do drama school, and you can still get there. There are people that are so successful that didn't train. I didn't do training before I did my degree, whereas a lot of people do. And at first, when I did my degree, I was like, oh my god, I'm the only person that didn't do the sixth form or college or whatever, but I'm still here. So what you can't do isn't your loss. You've just got to keep going, really.
That is a common theme, isn't it? It is a common theme. Hugo, anything to add for?
No, I think they've said it. They've said it.
If there was one dream role, Hugo, in your future, what would it be?
Oh, I think I would really love to be Daniel in Once on This Island.
Oh,
Why
my
Daniel?
gosh.
Tell us why.
Because it's a musical that's based in the Caribbean, and it takes a lot of Caribbean culture, and being from there, I think I just really connect to it, and the character as well is just really well written and sings really cool songs. So, yeah, give it to me.
Loves his music. If you're listening out there, Hugo is available. Yeah. Carly, what about you?
Glinda.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Glinda. I have lots, but Glinda is my biggest dream.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
As the listeners to this podcast will well know, Wicked is my favourite musical. I've been
Oh, really?
38, but let's not dwell on it.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, I can see you as a Glinda. It's
Thank
such an iconic role.
Very exciting experience.
And she's going home by bubble.
Exactly.
Who knew? I love Glinda.
Like photos.
Who would be your Elphaba though?
Oh, that's such a good Molly.
Ah! And to round this up nicely.
And she's in the green.
Oh yeah, you are the green, aren't you? I happen to have some green foundation in my bag as well. I just happen to
Let's not do the
Come on,
evening
man.
show.
Yeah.
Where's my bubble?
I'm only joking. Or am I? Now, finally, Molly, dream role for you?
If anyone knows Jason Robert Brown, it's The Last 5 Years. But for people who don't, then Elsa.
Ah, of course. Let it go, love. Let it go. Yeah. Right. Tell us why. Maybe we'll give you a couple of sentences each. Why should people come to see Peter Pan at the Bristol Hippodrome, Carly?
Oh, that's a scary question. Well, it's not scary. The cast are wonderful. I think that's the main thing. Everyone involved, the ensemble, the dancers are amazing. Every single one of them. They all try so hard and give it everything, every show. It's just so fun as well, and you can see that we're all having fun on stage, and I think that that's the best thing when you go and see something and you can tell that everyone's enjoying it. I think we work really well as a team, and that's also visible on stage. Plus, obviously, these huge names who are just amazing people as well as performers. And there's nothing better than seeing someone that's amazing on stage and knowing that they're an amazing person off stage as well. And these two included. But yeah, just the cast, basically. Everyone's amazing.
Very good.
It's really funny. I think,
Yeah, it's
like,
really fun.
even after rehearsing it for so long and doing it every day, I still find a lot of pleasure watching it from the sides, and still, like, me and Carly piss ourselves, and Molly, we piss ourselves every time we watch some scenes. Like, there's a song that specifically happens, and it is so funny every time. And like every night I will sit and watch because it is just so funny. That's all I have to say.
Love it. Cast. It's funny. Molly, no pressure here.
I was going to say it's fun, which is just the same word without the NY at the end. But I have had people come up to me and say, like, you look like you're having so much fun. You look like you're really enjoying it, and you look really happy. And I'm like, well, that's great. That must be great to watch, surely, because we are having so much fun. And I think it helps because, like I said, everyone is so nice and we really get on. And I think that helps. Like, every day it is actually so fun. And if we're enjoying ourselves, then I feel like it relates to the audience as well, and it is just super fun and enjoyable.
so infectious as well. We're just being in your company for the last 15, 20 minutes or so. You can see the energy that comes off you, and a little bit of stage makeup still. Not quite as much foundation as me, but never mind. Listen, it's been a pleasure having you in the studio. Thank you so much. Good luck for the rest of it. I stumble on good luck. Are you still supposed to say good luck to people that are on stage?
Break a leg.
Is it break a leg? Does anybody care about that anymore?
And never mention the Scottish play.
I thought it was don't be shit. What? Can we just don't? That's it. Don't be shit.
That's another one.
Oh
From
yeah, you
Crazy
can't mention
for
the
You.
M word, can you?
The what
Multi-story
word?
car park, Trenchard Street.
The what word?
No, I'm joking.
Please do an Andy Ford impression for
The
you.
what?
Oh God, come on.
That's 3 out of 10.
Right, what out of 10?
Andy.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to think. What would Andy Ford say here? He'd go something like, "Wow, it's been lovely coming here, isn't it? Lovely. Thank you very much. Come and see the panto. It's marvelous."
Oh, that was quite.
Yeah.
It was all
Just
right.
like you said.
The other one was better.
Yeah, it was.
The best.
Sorry, let you down.
You'll like it. You'll really like it.
Tell us when the panto is on, JC, and how we can get tickets.
Yes, I will tell you. Let me start that again.
Yeah, tell us,
You caught me
JC,
off guard.
how we can get the tickets.
You can get the tickets at www.atg.com/Bristol, and it's here until the 31st of December. Tickets are available from £13 on most performances.
There you go. Love it.
Yay.
Right, so Hugo and Carly and Molly and JC, to you, the lovely audience, thank you very much for watching, and go and see Peter Pan at the Bristol Hippodrome. Give yourselves a round of applause. You were brilliant.
Yeah, look at David.